minerals as well as glass will shine when the light is shed on them. So everyone deserves an opportunity at some of these programs to ensure that we do bridge that gap. So what we're going to do in the interest of learning from last panel is, so we can have much more of a dialogue and keep it very interactive, is I'm going to introduce the panelists, if that's okay, and then I will ask you some different questions. Does that work? Okay. So I'm going to start with my wonderful colleague, Dr. Leland Bird. She is a professor and chair at the Department of Computer Science at Howard University. Very interesting story about Howard University. They also have a middle school on campus. So some of the programs that we heard earlier about looking at early childhood education is inspired by some of the work that's being done at Howard. We have Dr. Rosemary Shumba, who also does late night emails with me. She is the Vice Dean and Cybersecurity Information Assurance Department and Chair, Digital Forensics Program at UMUC. Thank you. We also have Dr. Jane LeClaire. She is the COO, Chief Operating Officer of the National Cybersecurity Institute at Excelsior College. Thank you. And then we also have the wonderful Dr. Kevin McKenzie, CISO and Executive Director of the Office of InfoSec Customer Relations and Learning Technologies, Clemson University. Go Tigers. Okay.
That's included in every intro.
Oh, in every intro.
When you see computer science schools, and this is public, I'm just saying, more you don't see computer science. You really see keyboard, applications, office, Excel, and so forth. And you really don't see algorithmic thinking, computational thinking, problem solving, critical thinking, that kind of thing, which is what they need to be a computer science or cyber security professional. And so there are many efforts going on right now. One of the largest ones is the National Science Foundation effort called CE21. C stands for, but part of that CE21 program is called CS10K. It's computer science 10K, which is basically they're trying to generate 10,000 teachers at 10,000 schools in computer science. We're trying to train them. We have an actual site at Howard University. We're doing a district, but there's many sites. There's one in Maryland, there's one in Chicago, Utah, LA, and so forth. And the idea is we're trying to build culturally responsive curriculum to that teachers can use in schools to try to increase the numbers. And we're starting at the middle school and also at the high school. Also, there's a big push in College Board. So now they're announcing a new AP exam called CS Principles. And CS Principles is different from AP
Computer science.
AP Computer Science is really focused on programming and Java programming language, whereas CS Principles is focused on what can computer science professionals do to solve the challenging problems that are facing today and tomorrow. And one of those initiatives is cyber. So there is a component in there that they were actually learning courses in, and they can actually take the AP exam with some cyber skills, and then they can use that to prepare for college.
Look to fill these positions, especially coming from RSA, which was one of the premier, cybersecurity firms in the world. The issue is also, how do we teach them that it's okay to fail? Because culturally, right, the way we were brought up, it's not okay to fail, right? You always want to do your best. You always want to get to the A's and B's. And so, to your point, there is that challenge as well.
Fail fast and fail.
Right. Jane?
Yeah, I would like to point out that maybe we need to, one of our models is to meet students where they are. And
Yeah.
if you think about that, where are students today, where are the younger people today anyway? If we can get the media cooperation to change and show that women can do things, people of color can do things in this area and represent it differently, because I still see that being represented in the media, just like it's always been. So I think that's a big place we need to push. From the second part, I know we talked a little bit briefly earlier, but I think we worked in the nuclear field to get where they did, but then when they got there, they didn't want to stay because of the I see the same thing being repeated 20 years later, maybe in the cyber area. And we'll have the same result in another 20 years before we can get any numbers changing. So I think we have to work really closely with industry to change that.
It'd be equitable, and I don't understand why we haven't gotten to that point today. I mean, it's a constantly evolving situation, and hopefully, you know, during my lifetime at least, I hope I can feel that way, getting there. So I think corporations are obligated in that respect, and I think us as educators and academic institutions, I think it's on us, and there's some obligations on us to be reaching down into the secondary education, down into the middle and high schools. And, you know, the quote that was said earlier, you know, B1, C1 sort of deal. How can you esteem to be something if you don't ever see it in practice? And at our university, and we have, it's more in the science and engineering, but we have a program which WISE is what we call it, Women in Science and Engineering. And part of that program is mentorship and partnering, getting those women who are in science and engineering STEM programs now, going back into the middle school and being assigned a mentor and working with some of the younger students, and so that they can see that, yes, there is a place for me. There is something I can achieve to be, and getting them interested then, and then building it from that way up. Because a lot of times I think some of that disconnect happens at that age level. My wife is a guidance counselor, so I know it firsthand. She's in the middle school now. She can see where it starts separating at that age. And I think that the more that we can do there, we'll continue to push those students into, you know, we won't have these 20% conversations anymore. Maybe we have some of the 30 and 40%, and we start having some of those. Corporate America, they're slow to figure it out, but the more the diverse your team can be across all lines, the more, you know, it's profitable for you. It's beneficial. I think, you know, diversity breeds creativity, and we need to walk away with that understanding of that.